Hello everybody, it is John the Magnificent, John the Handsome, John the Mad. Yeah, that's probably more like it, isn't it? Yes. Look, I was having a drive-through the other day, and well, actually today, to be quite honest, which could be any day if you're watching this video 10 years in the future. But in relation to this point of time, drive-through had, I think it's a 30% discount on Game Master materials, I think it was. And they had all the world's monsters. Now, the only reason it caught my attention was the fact that I have volume 1. Let me see if I can get this right. So I picked up, at the time when these came out, I've got volume 1 and I got volume 3. Don't ask me what happened to my volume 2, because I'm damn sure I would have bought it. I'm assuming that the poor book suffered from one of my frequent flooding events, and sadly I lost it, because I don't think it's a book that many people would have borrowed. But look, it is a delightful book. It's been edited by Jeff Pimper and Steve Perrin, and it's actually a Chaosium publication. And this one here that I have is the second edition, 1981 edition, which according to the preface here is saying this is the third printing of this endless book, they call it. And it is really quite good, because they've said here that we originally conceived it to include every monster created by players to add to games such as Dungeons and Dragons, Tunnels and Trolls, and the Arduin Grimoire. Yes, I've actually got Arduin Grimoire. Delightful little tiny book. They're in the same style as the original 3 books for Dungeons and Dragons. That's the size of the books. That, what is it, A5? Is it A5? Yeah. But anyway, so they've said here, we rapidly realised we couldn't do it. Based on the constant increase in new customers for these games, as observed in the hobby shops we frequent, there may be over 500,000 people now playing these and other role-playing games. This is 1981, and that is delightful when you think about how niche our market was and that it was still growing. To say that there was 500,000 people, I'm almost wondering this may purely be from an American point of view, but yeah, it's interesting. It says at least 50,000 of these players are dungeon masters, referees, etc. And every one of them has invented at least one new monster with which to scare the gold lust out of their players' characters. I love it. I really do. You know, this was a time where people were really, in my opinion, putting their heart into everything that was being released. There was no you know, you can't do this sort of, you know, you might offend somebody if you do, you know, do this particular monster or try to reference something. It's interesting, but it is a interesting collection of monsters. Look, there is very, very little. I'll try to do another little video bit towards the end of this. That'll show you what the book looks like in itself, but really it is the basic D&D stats that are in there, and they've given you things as well as an intelligence range and a dexterity range, so that you can obviously include tunnels and trolls and things like that. But what I enjoyed at the very back is that they have this thing called the where is it? Okay, we have the Henderson, they call it the Henderson Monster Creation Table, and it's for the person who loves sheer randomness. So you've got the size of the monster, you roll percentile. This is all percentile based, by the way. So you roll the size of the monster, you can roll for its looks. It could be indescribable or beautiful, like me. Then its intelligence, it could be dumb or it could have a intelligence score of 19 plus, a bit like me again, high intelligence. Alignment, law, chaos, neutral, or none. So that's interesting. Then it's got hit dice. So you then roll to see, what sort of hit dice the creature has. Its armor class, its dexterity range, its speed. How quick is the little bugger? Does it have an airspeed? Special, it might be ethereal, might dimension door, it might teleport, wind walk, dimension walk, shadow walk, or leap. Then we have the number of attacks, which is interesting. Types of attacks, so it could be physical, magical, clerical, psionic, breath, visual, sonic, and presence. Then we have physical attacks, and it has all sorts of things in here like by weapons, claw, bite, tentacles, feet, tusks, horn, tail, quills, tongue, oh dear, pincers, constriction, contact, spike, sting, and fangs. Then it's got the number of attacks per type, so you could have multiple. Works out rather interesting. So you could actually sit here, and then it comes through and it says damage per attack, and then it's got special, sting, fang damage, special attack, magical, clerical, then it's got psionic attack, defenses, breath attacks, visual attacks, sonic attacks, presence attacks. Then it's got number of detects, and it can detect, for instance, invisible, ethereal, astral, ESP. Then we have the number of immunities and the immunity type, so, fear, cold, fire, etc., etc. Then the number of special abilities, and the special abilities could be things like rusting, etherealness, yes, psionics, regeneration, spell turning, mage spell, cleric spell, mind lie. I have to find out what that means. Camouflage, polymorph, silence, haste, and invisibility. And look, this is all just on one chart. So, if you're wanting to create something weird and wonderful, you could just play on the chart, roll it, and then, create a creature around what this delightful little random set of, here we go, let's monster creation table. And that is what I currently have rediscovered. So, it's quite good. It's quite good. Actually, I think in here that they actually said the artists. It says thanks to Dave Hargrave and Paul Jacques, who gave us permission to use their copyrighted material. Only to have it aced out of the first volume on the grounds that we only had space heretofore for non-published critters. Oh well, we had. Actually, I thought there was something here I read here. No. Must have been something else I was looking at. Because it actually includes the artwork of the spouses. I remember reading that somewhere. But look, honestly, if you're looking, they're quite cheap. For me, I think they were, like for instance, I've gone and actually gotten all three of these for PDFs purely for my own history, and for obviously to replace volume 2 that's currently gone to the wind. I'll eventually have to print out volume 2 just to see what's in there. But look, it is a period of time that for me I would like to call the golden age of role-playing, the pulp era, something like that perhaps. But look, if you've used these, let me know what your thoughts are. Look, they are the product of their time, and they can give you inspiration to use with anything that you're currently doing today. So the producers just wandered in. As you know, I've now got a producer and a script writer. So if my scripts have improved, it's because I've got a parrot. Yes, that might be the reason. Hey, Pip, where's the parrot? Parrot's outside, isn't he? Sorry, I'm looking down at. I know the minute I try to get him, he's going to do a major dash and a runner, aren't you? You're going to come say hello before I sign off? Hang on, let's see if I can grab him. Come here. Yeah. Yes, he's not going to have anything to do with it. My producer has become a little camera shy these days, so Anyway, look, everybody, thank you very much for watching yet another idiosyncratic, idiot maybe, production. So till next time, signing off, the Honourable John. Right, and here is a hopefully better view of what's in this book. And as you can see, there are quite a few monsters. Can't remember how many there were. They've actually, the nice thing about this is that they've actually credited, for instance, the name of whoever created the monster. So Chuck Cady, Dan Pearson, Dave Hardgrave, and you know, the artwork fairly indicative for its time. And look, I just find that it is a nice little source, and this is what the book basically covers all the way through. Now, the artwork, again, you'll find some of the artwork is very demonstrative of the early RuneQuest. For instance, that style of artwork I can certainly remember. Louise, I think that might be, I can't remember her name now, but I think, I won't say it in the event that I get the relationship wrong. But look, you've even got an official all the world's monster sheet where you can actually write how you create, because as I was talking about before, there is that there's the the Henderson monster creation table, which is, I think, fairly handy for somebody who's, you know, wanting to do something that's different from everybody else. And then we've got general level chart, and then there's the you know, dungeon level and the monster level table that you know, equating level with the strength of the critters. So it's yeah, look, it's a sign, it's a product of its time, and look, I love it. It's a piece of history that I'm really happy to still have in my collection.